Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 72nd episode of the Seercast. I am ePiKnight, and with me today is Kitten.
Hello.
Liem.
Hi.
Ernj.
Hello.
Runic.
I am officially Vladimir Putin.
Oh my god. Siroki.
Good morning.
And we have a Walter and a Jascertes in the chat here with us. Today, it's been a rather lengthy amount of time since our last Seercast, mostly due to a combination of scheduling things and people going back to school and being busy and stuff, and, you know, like, real-life things, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, we're back. We're gonna briefly talk about the arc. And talk a little bit about some of the stuff that happened in August, as well as look forward towards September.
No, we're not in December yet.
We're not in December yet. Oh, God. Look forward to September and discuss some of the happenings that are and, well, are not going to be happening in September, rip mining and smithing.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But, anyways, a good quick start with the Ark. Ark, obviously, the Eastern Lands released a month and a half ago now. It was end of July.
The first like 10th of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First 12.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
and since then, everyone has left because
Rip.
Oh yeah.
Because Prifddinas is still better.
well,
Yeah.
not necessarily. There are some parts of the arc that are better than Prifddinas, but everyone already maxed from Prifddinas, so just having it be a general XP mill wasn't really helpful to a large majority of comp capers
That's true.
who
Yeah.
promptly got mad.
Yeah,
As
Yeah,
they are
because
wont to.
what else do they do with... I mean, they obviously don't have any levels to grind for anymore, so all they have to do is just get mad.
Yeah, and there's nothing really you can take outside of the arc that's useful besides the fancy spear.
Yeah.
Everything else is like self-contained.
Yeah, I mean,
It will be useful when more of the Eastern Lands come out, but it's not useful right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was something. I can't remember who I was explaining it to, but it was someone who was just talking about that, like basically that problem. Like they said it was better than Prif apparently, but then it wasn't. But I just said like, well, the Arc and the Shield are very different things. And maybe like I can understand if they release further versions. Of course, it can probably surpass Prif if it's actually difficult to get to. But
Yeah.
like the base Arc, I don't think should ever surpass Prif.
Like,
Yeah.
I think what
Just
they...
like relative content.
What they said was that the XP rates in general are going to be higher for the Arc, but Crystallize is a thing, and they specifically said Crystallize was not in their calculations. Like, they were just ignoring Crystallize's existence in terms
Yeah.
of, like, fastest XP rate, just because of how ridiculously expensive Crystallize can be. As Walter says, Jagex claimed that the Arc had the best experience rates if you ignore Crystallize. The issue with that is that it is aimed at a high-end player base. Like, you need so many level 90s or even just level 99s to get everything out of the Arc, and way too many high-level players want to just throw their money away. So
Yeah, like a large amount of high-level players are rich.
yeah,
I'm not one of those people.
I'm not one of those either.
Yeah.
I have like 15 mil total.
Which
yeah.
is why I'm more than happy to run around the arc.
Yeah.
Um,
I run around the rune spam, but I mean,
Yes.
same thing, really.
Mhm.
Self-contained place where you don't have to spend money to get XP. But yeah, like, and then part of the other problem was with the Arc is that to get those XP rates, you have to island hop, and that requires doing something other than grinding for XP. So, yeah, sure, it might have the highest average XP rate, but you have to do other things, and you get it in a lot of different skills. You can't necessarily pick the skills, so it's like, yeah.
like, there's a high amount of randomness.
Yeah, very
So,
high.
Salt is amazing, but
Yeah.
like it will get better with time when Arc Part 2 and maybe the Skull comes out, but it's not great now, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because things need to be great on release. They can't just be dead on release and wait to be good.
Well, I mean, and I don't know. I do think it's gotten a little bit of a bad rap because of high-end players being
High-end players.
being high-end players and being kind of needy and whatever. I mean, it's one of those. I guess we should have expected this, but I mean, still,
It looks amazing though.
It
like,
does.
Graphically-wise,
Graphically
looks
is
amazing.
There's a lot
So
of really
great.
good lore there. Lore potential there.
Yes.
But we just need to wait for it to be realized.
yeah. So I mean, they did release 4 of the mini quests already, and we'll talk about all of
And
these
they're
mini
great.
quests when they've released the next batch of the arc, and we can probably just have a full lore podcast on the arc because there is
Some
quite a
pretty
bit
cool
of interesting
stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
There's pretty weird stuff going on over there.
but
Especially when you note the suspicious lack of slaves on the slave hub of the East.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Even though, well, like, there could be a lore reason for that because we only have half the island.
we
don't
do
get the
only
other
have half the island. Yeah,
And you notice that there are carts in the way of getting to the other half.
there are also cars. Then there are ducks
Yes.
on said cars.
The
Whoops.
metropolis of whatever, Waiko.
Yeah. They're probably on the other side of the island. We just can't get to them. Well, yet.
Yeah,
I hope
soon.
that gets updated because it's
Trademark.
like that's a lot of land and not a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
You can also kind of see more windmill stuff in the background there too, so it's kind of like, oh, is there more like a bigger like city stuff or anything back there? I don't
Are there
know.
jerks
I'm sure
over
if we,
there?
I'm sure if we bothered Stu and Rowley and stuff enough, well, they could maybe answer. Maybe, probably not.
Well, maybe they could answer in a couple months.
Yeah, or we
Yeah.
could just wait. I mean, why? But why would we ever do that? We could take the Avernic route to doing it and just pester them. Sorry, Avernic.
We're not sorry.
you know you do
No,
that.
Wait. You say we're sorry, but we're not.
We're really not. we know, and you know that we pester the J mods constantly. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool place. It's what some of us were expecting, and it's not what some of us were expecting. And that's that gulf, and it's the people that didn't get what they were expecting are the comp capers. So
Now, if only they could mine all that salt and sell it. They
I
could
know,
make a lot.
right? Salt is not a
I-
tradable item in RuneScape, is it?
It's tradable to NPCs because you can mine the sea salt and sell it.
Damn.
Use it in Iclarin's Little Helper.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
it is also sometimes a quest item.
Yeah, I was fine with it. I think a lot of people they were surprised when the update the rewards interface had like the upgrades as like tiers. Like if you did one upgrade, it would say you'd basically be prompted to buy it again, and some people thought it was a glitch, but it turned out that you actually had to continuously buy the tier of the upgrade again and again until you were maxed out, and people didn't like the format. So, but then
Yeah.
they like jumped the gun and were like, Jagex, you suck! How dare you do this? And then
As they usually do.
yeah, instead of like it's really just a box that doesn't. It's a skill tree kind of that just isn't formatted as a tree, but they didn't like the formatting, so they went nuts.
Yeah, what Walter says is he likes the arc, but he wants to take more out of the arc. Like, he wants to have stuff that he can take elsewhere. And the arc
is a
is
good-
extremely self-contained.
That's the good thing about splitting it in 2 parts, because part 2 can do this.
Yep. Yep.
They
yep.
got all the graphical stuff out of the way, or at least have a huge chunk of graphical assets
Yeah.
that they can use now.
That they can just reuse, just copy-paste elsewhere.
I mean, those crates have to go somewhere. They could go to Catherby.
Oh, God.
They did.
They did, in fact. Yeah, shout out to Stu for all of the examine texts, though. Those kept me entertained for quite a while.
They
Yeah.
made an example out of this sharp to keep the other ones in line.
Yep. Alright. But yeah. Yeah, so comp capers are complaining. They call it Livid Farm 2.0
Oh
because
God.
they can and because
Yeah.
comp capers.
I would never say it's Live and Farm 2.0. It's
Oh, it didn't
it's,
feel
it's
anything
definitely
like
not
that.
tedious at
No.
all. Yeah, it's
the very fact that you have to move around to do stuff makes it not Livid Farm at all.
Like, at least it has mini quests and stuff like that, and other activities and actual
Also,
decent stuff.
Yep.
Even
The
it has some
Uncharted Isles,
glitches.
they are really fun. Like, they are addictively fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. 60k extra charms. Jesus, Walter.
We know who the first person to
Yeah.
max part 2 will be.
Yeah. Walter's prepared.
I'm getting there.
If only I could spend Dungeoneering tokens on our
I have
maxing.
60 chimes, period. So, yeah.
60,000, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So that's the arc. We'll have more on the arc when part 2 comes out. That's slated for October, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Unless
next month.
comp capers get mad and delay it forever. Can we talk about mining and smithing now?
Yeah, we can. We can just talk about
All
that
right.
now. Go live.
I'm a little bit mad. I'm a little bit mad, guys.
It's deservedly so.
I was really hyped for this update because mining and smithing, they are my 2 first skills to get to 99 because I really like the skills. And
Because you're weird.
yes, because I'm a very strange person. But they were about to get reworked. They're also the most broken skills in the game. So
Mechanically.
and
Mechanically
we've been-
broken.
Mechanically, yeah. Also, you can't really profit off of them in any way. So people have been begging for an update for 6 years, 5 years, something like that, for a long time. And we finally got the update. They do a live stream on it, and then Timbo says something like, "It's a tier 30 resource about coal. It's a tier 30 resource. It shouldn't be that valuable, so we're not going to rebalance it to be that valuable." Which it's understandable. It's not ideal, but it's understandable. And then everyone flips a shit. Completely flips a shit. And this cancels the update. And
Yeah.
I'm mad about that. Why? Alright, I didn't like the update. I didn't like part of the update from the beginning because it just made the whole skill seem like an XP farm for people who are PVMers to go directly from having no mining and smithing knowledge to being at 99.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Rune was also not as balanced, but that was mostly so that the economy would be less dependent on Rune items coming in through Slayer and more dependent on people mining and smithing, like how it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
And when people were mad that... Alright, I'm going to turn off the objectivity if I even had it right now. When people were mad that their Slayer profits were going to take a dip, then they all got mad, and suddenly the update stopped happening. And I'm really upset about that because we've been begging for an update for these 2 skills for years, and we're not going to get them because what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Yeah, feels bad, man, pretty much comes to mind. I mean,
Pretty much.
we've hyped this update. It's one of the most needed updates, and then it was voted for by the players to be an update for this year, and people were excited about it, and then to have something as trivial as...
Inconsequential as just people were unhappy that their Slayer drops weren't going to be as rebalanced as they thought they should be. And
Yeah.
And I agree that
God damn it.
the problem is scope. Now we completely rework the drop tables too. The amount of time that would take is unbelievable because there's so many critters in the game. There's so many different things you can kill. I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of individual things that have drop
It's
tables.
just yeah.
That have any kind of armor, metal, or anything that is in their drop table.
Yeah.
It would definitely be weird.
And then there's
This only
multiple
started
different
happening-
versions of the same thing.
This only started happening about after Next came out. Which then again, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And considering
That
all
was
the
right
bosses that
when-
we've had and stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like this,
no.
that was the problem. Like the scale of the bosses went up super high, and then they just scaled up the rune drops as well and stuff like that. And just even rebalancing some of the Slayer mobs over time, it's still just like even just 8 gargoyles for an example. That's pretty
my
crazy.
God.
They will. Oh man, they'll need some help. But yeah, it kind of went out of control. But then now there's just no fix for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
except just like sitting down and having to do the nitty gritty of it. But if Jagex is unable to do an update, if there's just such severe backlash, then like I don't know how they're going to be able to do updates for the health of the game, even if the majority of the player base doesn't want them.
Well, but in this case, the strange thing here is that everybody did want it, and then suddenly everybody started complaining, and it's just the entire situation is just mind-boggling.
And it canceled the update.
Well,
Yeah.
delayed the update, didn't technically
Right.
cancel it, but yeah, I know
If
what you
they-
mean.
If this happens again, then the update's going to be completely canceled for another 5 years.
Yeah, probably. And Jack is working on it, and Jack is has been the champion of this forever, and I trust him more than almost anybody else there with making this right. But the players just I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as someone who wants the game to be healthy going forward, and someone who wants to see good updates come out that people want. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the concern with
And,
Slayer, which I
mean,
think Walter and I
From my
like.
perspective as, a PVMer and stuff, I understand why everyone gets overreactive, because honestly, when it comes to, bossing and stuff, the only stuff that's, whatchamacallit, stable in terms of price is,
Stuff that's at alc price.
yeah, rune
Because
items.
you can't go any lower.
mining, smithing stuff. So yeah, everything else is actually really low at the moment. So I don't blame. I get it, but at the same time, it's not good.
Like it should never be the case that players are able to just stop updates from happening. And we saw that happen with Shattered Worlds, and like none of us took notice because nobody liked Shattered Worlds. But if this becomes a pattern, this is very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also the thing that Runic didn't hear me because we're having mic trouble, but that was the thing that Walter and I were talking about, where they even mentioned one of our worries is them boosting Slayer to 120, not as just letting you get 120, but actually having mobs past 99. So that would be please fix the drop table and please do mining and smithing before you just start throwing in monsters saying, okay, you can kill these at different levels, and then just give them boss tier drops the higher you go.
Yeah.
Because that would just be a really bad apology for an update that's really needed.
Yeah, we've
One way or
probably
another.
talked about this in the past. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, if they boost Slayer to 120, there needs to be content past 99. So there needs to be stuff in the 101, 103, 105, and those monsters need to have drop tables that are reasonable. Well, it makes sense that you would have a drop that would happen after the mining and smithing, but I can see Slayer people complaining about the mining and smithing, get that pushed back to the point where, and then start calling for the 120 Slayer, and then if Jagex feels forced to 120 Slayer first, and you have the problem that you just mentioned, and that's just not okay. Because it does need the best, it really does seem like the best way that you could do this is you release the mining smithing work, and then the next month go for 120 Slayer, whatever. Because now you have a whole bunch of different new materials that you can have as drops, very high level drops for high level mining and smithing. But
It would actually
Here's
almost
the
be
thing, though.
perfect.
They said that they wanted to avoid putting mining and smithing
Yes,
supplies on
because that's not good, because if
right,
if you
that's
have
true.
Slayer being able to bring in finished products that are supposed to be brought in from mining and smithing, then suddenly everyone's going to go for Slayer.
I'm not mentioning final products though. I'm talking about like ores and bars.
Ores.
Yeah.
like
Well,
And
If it's just ores, then that just gets rid of mining.
yeah, there's all sorts of tricky problems here.
well, I like the idea.
I have a
more
feeling
of-
perhaps the happiest medium is for bars.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, then you're going to be using less ores. But yeah,
But if they balance it properly, then it's super tricky. And
Well, the thing is,
Jack has an
Like-
unenviable task.
Yeah.
mining and smithing needs to cost something, because currently it doesn't cost anything. If it can cost something, and if that does come from bossing, then we could have a balance. Could. I'm not a game designer, and I'm not a game balancer.
Me
so
either.
I'm talking out of my ass. Like, directly out of my ass.
As opposed to sort of out of your ass.
As opposed to usual.
partially.
Yeah.
As opposed to usual.
The thing that I was gonna mention is I know now that I remember they were talking about introducing more stuff past Rune or something similar to that, where it was kind of changing the armor as well, and I would kind of prefer that to be integrated into New Slayer instead of like trying to work around where do we put Rune and Adamant and Mithril.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather see it like just take a week, completely redo it, see if it's acceptable, and then go on to expanding Slayer and the things that already rely on those drops.
And it might be the case of, okay, so they take Slayer to 120, and in that month, that's when they just say, we're going to completely redo the drop tables. We're going to completely overhaul everything. And again, I am also not a game designer. This is conjecture.
You are
and
also talking directly out of your ass.
correct. But this is what I do on a regular basis. That is why we have the Seercast. So that all of us can talk out of our asses to people that may or may not care.
That's amazing. Like, even I only know how to put
the
stuff
thing
in a
is
Unity
that
scene.
they've talked about this before, especially because they've talked about rebalancing the strength of Slayer monsters, and they're like, if we do that, we also have to rebalance drop tails. That's a huge task.
Yeah, it is.
Like the way they make it sound, it's literally the size of just reworking a skill.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying almost just like, okay, so if we extend Slayer to 120, that might be a good time to say, all right, we're just going to rework drop tables here, and we're going to figure out some way of doing it. And I feel like Timbo's talked about this on stream or something before, where
No, this is like Timbo's free time right here, trying to figure out some way.
that's what I mean. Is he's talked about trying to figure this out on stream, and I think he's stumped. He's been at a loss for how to fix this, and it is a serious problem when you have. I mean, obviously you don't want to just drop money because then inflation is a problem, but you don't want to drop things that could drop. But then, like dropping rune stuff is basically dropping money, except for disassembling now.
And it does cost it costs runes, I guess, but well, this is a problem.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, and it's a problem for another Seercast, and we can talk about this at length.
This is a problem for several other Seercasts.
Yeah, true. Several other
Yeah.
Seercasts.
And it might get very bad.
Yeah. But you see the problem here, and it's not going to fix itself, and they've kind of painted themselves into a corner with the way that they've set up drop tables recently, and with
Recently,
the way
as
that
in-
they've...
in the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean by recently, is since we've done podcasts, which is not recently, but
Since about next.
yeah. And
I'd say before, because things like farming stuff has been on drop tables literally since release. And
but that's
if you
never
look-
been a problem.
There is a direct correlation between our podcasts and the terrible job tables.
Rip. Seercast is clearly
Oh my god.
is clearly
Seercast
the
is
reason.
canceled, guys. It's over.
Feels bad,
Taking
man.
one for the team here.
No,
It
but
wasn't really a problem because that was how farming was designed.
yeah,
until
it's
recently.
hard to get seeds.
Yeah. Now that seeds are so oversupplied.
Now they're all worthless.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Also, the potions are they work a little bit differently now, and there's some other factors. But yeah, I mean, Torstall was 300k a seed for years. After
Yeah.
they made overloads, for probably 2, 3, 4 years, it was in the hundreds of thousands per seed, just because it was super rare, only dropped from very
And it
few
was,
places.
Vital for all PVM at the time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
overloads are a thing, and overloads are still a thing. But Torstall seeds and Torstall the herb itself drops so much more commonly that it's not even. Yeah, it's not as much of a thing now. I don't know. This is a topic for another Seercast, and we could have dedicated Seercasts on arguing the pros and cons, but it'd probably just end up being the same
Yeah.
thing over and over again. But
Yeah.
right now this update is slated for January.
It's slated for next year,
Yeah.
which is a problem because it was slated for September.
Yeah, I think I saw January somewhere. I might be wrong on that, but
They were already pretty far into working on it. Like, we were seeing, like, the actual new
Yes.
art. and stuff.
We saw like the actual in-game pictures of it, and then it got scrapped for whatever reason.
well, we know what reason.
Well, yeah, but
So hopefully they'll be able to salvage as much as they can, even if it's like repurposing some stuff. But
We shall see. We shall see. But that's for another time, and we'll see that on a BTS hopefully soon. But yeah, so that's mining and smithing. That was supposed to be this month. It is not this month. This month is some other interesting changes, which we'll be talking about in just a bit. Before we get into that, I want to briefly mention the fact that skilling pets exists. That was basically August's update.
yes,
Yeah.
that was the replacement update because Shattered Worlds also got canceled due to public discontent.
Well, Shattered Worlds was weird.
It was weird. They could have pulled it off.
They
If
could
it
have.
hadn't gotten such a bad rap, then they could have pulled it off. Because it seemed like everyone just hated it from the beginning.
yeah,
But that it's canceled content. We don't need to discuss it that much.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
It will be referenced in the next Gower Quest.
Yeah. Yeah.
coming to a BTS near you.
Just like Rite of
Oh,
Passage.
man.
Rip. Baby Rage. But yeah, the Shattered Worlds, what I really don't want to have happen is for this to be a precedent, is for this canceling of updates that were promised because
People were upset.
a few people were whining about it, and it's a vocal minority, a very
It's Reddit.
very vocal minority.
It's guys on Reddit and on Twitch stream.
Yeah, and because I mean they've done those polls and stuff, and from what you would see on the forums and stuff, you'd imagine that like 3/4 of the game has comp cape, and 1/4 of the game has trim comp by the people who were talking on the forums about these updates, and it's just not the case. And I just don't want the vocal minority to start really dictating the course of the game, because they now know that if they complain loud enough, things might get canceled. That's just sounds like the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways, we got pets this month. We've been asking for skill pets for several years since we started getting boss pets. A lot of them are really cool.
Rue is cute.
Which one?
Rue. I
Yeah.
want that. I want that so bad.
Naturally.
Yeah. I'm like, God, I can't imagine that me, of all people, would want a rune crafting pet. No, but yeah. But yeah, the free-to-play can get these pets as well. They're 19 new pets, one for each non-combat skill. 99s and your virtual levels and 200 mil are all thresholds that will increase your drop chances for these. Invention and Dungeoneering also have the 120 threshold. Does anybody here actually have pets? And or how
No.
many?
No.
Even the Dungeoneering
No.
pet. Yeah, even the Dungeoneering pet. No, and that's after 200 mil, so I kind of got bored very
Rip.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working at trying to get Rue and Willow, which is the divination pet, but no
Yeah,
luck.
that one actually has lore about it has Geltic's lore.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me pull up the transcript here. It describes the birth of Aji. It describes a lot of stuff about the blade.
Yeah. That was like kind of a little bit of my complaint. 'Cause it's like it's cool to have that, but oh man, it's in a skilling pet.
Well, I mean, it had to be somewhere.
No, but it's kind of just like a really big wall to get that kind of lore if people care about it. Oh yeah, the like 1% picture of a comp trimmed in quest cape. Or trim
So
quest
now
cape.
just
Master Quest, yeah.
last
Master.
rider into one of their mouths.
Yeah, it's what we're talking about is that the Jagex posted a picture on both Instagram and Twitter a couple days ago. There's talking about how many people have comp capes, how many people have master quests, and how many people have trim comp. Under 2% have a comp cape.
Under 0.2%.
Just over 0.25% have a master quest cape, and under 1/5% have a trim comp. So, and those are the people that are talking about these updates the loudest, and that's what we were
Yeah.
referring to.
Yeah, that's kind of the ironic thing, which it's kind of, it's not really an issue, but it tends to happen a lot just
Yeah.
in general communities. It's like the people that are oddly enough the minority end up being the ones that complain the most. Or
Yep.
influence updates, unfortunately. But
And it
Yeah.
makes, if you think about it from like a time played standpoint, it makes sense-ish, but at the same time, it's like, but anyways, that's for another day. We've talked about that enough. We can keep talking
We've
skilling
ranted
pets.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have.
But a lot of them are really cool. I do have one complaint, and that's about the mining, smithing, and crafting skilling pets being the exact same pet.
oh yeah, the
Yeah.
asset reuse is a little off the charts in some cases.
Well, just that case, because their names are, what is it, Gemmy, who is made out of gems, Rocky, who is made out of rocks, and Smithy, who is made out of guys named Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I also find interesting is
Better
even
than
though that
Stevie.
They did do the a little bit of asset reuse for like the rune crafting and stuff like that. How they didn't even try to like go that a little bit further to try to get I don't know better like ones
Update,
such as, like, the-
update it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of them are kind of cool because I think it's like Ramsey is for cooking, and that's actually interesting. Then there's some of them that's just like, okay, there's Woody, and then there's Woody with particle effects, and his name
I
is
do
Birdie
like-
because he's on fire. I'm like, aw.
I do like Herbert, though.
Yeah, that's cute. That's really cute. That's the thing.
yeah,
Some of them
I
are really
know.
cute. Some of them are just like
I
recycled.
want
I'm
Herbert.
like, why didn't we use Ormod's haunted chair for the construction?
Yes.
Seriously, seriously, stuff like that. But I do like the house,
Yeah.
Baba Yaga's house.
Baba Yaga's house.
walking
It's-
house. That's always the
It
best.
even has an interact when you're in, like, Baba Yaga's real house's pen. Like,
yeah.
they both get really happy when you're in Baba Yaga's really, like, in the vicinity of the real house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's some of these pets are they're adorable, and I want Rue like now, but I can't have him because I can't get lucky with rune spam.
Unfortunately, from what I've heard, Dojo Mojo has the same always with the uking feature that the Cheeky Monkey has. So,
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
It's annoying not only for you, but for anyone around you who has sounds on.
I'll just have someone come to my house, they can summon a Cheeky Monkey, I'll get Dojo Mojo, and then get my Monkey Butler to show up.
Oh my god.
How many monkeys can you have surrounding you at one time?
I'll figure it out.
Is this like the have the maximum number of minions summoned on Terraria achievement? Like have the maximum
God.
number of
Like a crazy
Shiraki's
cat
summoned by Siroki?
It's more of a crazy cat lady situation, if anything.
Fair
You
enough.
just collect monkeys.
That's kind of morbid, but but
While
yeah.
also laying down barrels of monkeys. Yeah, I can figure this out.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, they all have dialogue. We don't actually have transcripts for all of them because
They're hard.
they're hard to get.
Yeah.
Some of them, like it was a couple days after release. A couple of them there were like only 1 or 2 had been found in the entire game.
Yeah, like fletching, I think.
Yeah,
was
well, who
the
wants to
bottom one at
train
the time.
fletching? But still.
Exactly.
And then you see the level 71 divination person with the divination thing, and she's like, "Man, I want to." God, just like the nerd rage welling up within you. Just.
Granted, they do have a duel feature now, if you want to.
3K fishing, like 3K XP. What?
Oh.
I saw one with
Good for
like
them.
700 of some.
What?
I don't remember which one it was. I think it might have been fishing, but who knows?
Fishing is the one that the most people have, like, by far, if
Yeah.
I remember right. Like, there's, like,
Yeah.
2 or 3 times the next amount, and it has like, as much as all the others combined.
Yeah, Fishvention is largely to blame for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd assume.
Yeah, I got 99 woodcutting already, so I guess Fishvention will be my source of invention now.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever care about leveling up invention. Still at 52. Still have no
Nice.
intention of getting any higher. Maybe with the updates this month, it'll be. Maybe I can trick myself into AFK mining while watching Overwatch tournaments on the weekend. But then again, I'll be casting those tournaments. Whatever. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so the skilling pets are a thing. They're cute. They're nice. Willow has some cool Guthix lore. But I mean, they're just a thing.
That's about it.
That's
They're
about
pets.
it.
They're pets that are hard to get, but they're pets.
Very hard to get. But yeah. Also has happened this month. Actually happened just a couple days ago. We'll talk about the Catherby and White Wolf Mountain update. There's a picture that Orange posted in the chat earlier of a quote-unquote cave. That is not a cave. That is not even close.
Actually, not a cave.
Yeah. It's a mountain that says it's a cave.
Yeah.
It's lying.
Yeah.
I actually can't
It
find
could
the
be a
picture.
cave, be levels of mining.
Oh, is it that very weird picture of like the ground's kind of blended and then it just dies a little bit because someone
Yep.
got lazy?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah, it's
no.
that. Yeah, it's this picture. I'll try and have this up in the thread or in the video here.
With enough ambition and mining level, I'm sure you could. figure it out.
And mining level. Is this before or after the rework? That may or may not happen.
I guess
Yeah.
we'll find out after the.
Oh.
And somebody just got triggered. Rip Lime. But yeah. So Catherby and White Wolf Mountain. It actually looks like a mountain. God forbid. They talked
Yeah.
about it on some podcast or stream or something a long time ago, where it's like White Wolf Mountain does not look anything like a mountain because they only had so high that they could go. With the with the software that they were, or with the engine that they were using.
It was more of a hill, basically.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
an attempt at a hill.
I mean, I'm sure there was more mountain underneath it.
Yeah. I mean, what is this, like, it's like the big island of Hawaii, where, okay, so the mountain is only technically, like, or it's only, like, 12,000 feet above sea level, but it's technically, like, 36,000 feet high because it starts at the sea level,
Yeah.
or at the
Yeah.
sea floor.
Mhm.
But yeah, the mountain requires you to go into caves, which are passages that lead to the higher part of the mountain, and that's what this picture is. Yeah, it's a cave, maybe.
Yeah, you crawl through.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. There were and are a lot of texturing issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like-
this is, I'm quoting Walter when it says this, it is the Windows 10 of reworks.
Yeah.
Everything is one step removed from how it used to be. The bank is further away from fishing, the bank is further away from the range. The mountain requires you to transition the screen twice. The unicorn likes to stay in the farm patch, so you have to be careful not to kill it. And even the fishing shop is further from the bank, which makes it more annoying to get harpoons. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. But this is the problem with graphical reworks, is that when you make it look pretty, then sometimes functionality gets shoved to
Also,
the wayside a little bit.
Arheim has a ship, won't let you go on a ship that no longer exists. And the candle maker apparently lost his shop.
Aw.
Rip?
The economic crisis really hit him hard.
God.
That's that recession.
I mean, it looked like it was going to go up, but then mining and smithing got canceled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Everyone sold
Yeah,
their stock.
I mean,
Yeah.
a random little detail, but we know that there's lore with this mountain and the elder god. I forget her name. The ice one. When?
when?
So whenever that quest is
Oh, no.
Oh,
And
no.
so it begins
Oh,
again.
No.
You make me proud.
Damn it, Lime. Yeah, apparently Megaduck is fixed now, since that was a game-breaking issue of...
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But the whole point of Megaduck was that he was just broken.
just,
Yeah, it's just the abomination
Just
of pets.
entirely
Bosses.
broken.
Yeah.
Season.
It was meant to just be a massive abomination. That's exactly what happened.
they certainly did a good job with that. But it was apparently broken at the beginning at the update, but it has since been fixed. But yeah, but that's the White Wolf Mountain update. It's a graphical rework. I mean, there's not much to say other than fix your textures.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking a little bit, so we're going kind of out of order here, but last month there's also the Wildy task set, which brings more dead content to dead content.
I mean, the
Yes.
divination spot is nice.
Yeah,
The Chaos Altar is really good for Iron Man. Not hardcore Iron Man, unless you're that hardcore.
you'd be
But-
super hardcore. It's like, oh, I can just perma die. Oh, I don't care. It's fine. What could possibly
Yeah.
go wrong?
Everything is fine.
This is fine.
But the task set itself, I enjoyed doing it, even though I died like 4 times. It was nice to run around the wilderness.
Yeah.
But it's not going to solve the problem of the wilderness being dead.
Yeah. Like, the task itself, it didn't take that long to complete overall. Like, pretty much the only
Yeah.
limiting factor was warbands, having to wait for the 7 hours or whatever.
Grumble,
Well, there was
grumble,
also the
grumble.
herbs. There were the herbs that people liked to kill you at.
Yeah, this is the problem with having tasks that force you to go to a specific spot in a PvP area, a forced PvP area, yeah, it could be problematic. The first thing I saw when I saw the tasks, and seeing that entering the wilderness is a task, I knew I was done. I knew there was no chance.
Throw a snowball at a guy in the wilderness.
I got that.
Oh, God.
I can do that. Entering the wilderness is apparently a task. Yeah. Yeah, well, I haven't done that one, so we're
Go figure.
yeah, we're a little bit behind on that. But yeah, the task rewards. How are the rewards here?
Some of them are good. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of teleports with the sword. You can start controlling the ancient obelisks in the wilderness, so you can say where you want to go.
That is useful. That is absolutely
Yeah, it is.
useful.
It is useful for whenever you go into the wilderness. Well, like it just makes things more practical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the other rewards are though.
Well, I know one thing is increasing like by extraordinary amount at the wilderness agility arena while you have it equipped.
Yes.
Something.
I
And
think
finding the Wildy worm, the Wildy horn.
Yes, you can
Oh,
look
God.
for the Wildy worm. There's increased pickpocketing success chance.
Oh, there's the obelisk of air shortcut up the
Yes,
mountain.
there's
there.
a shortcut to make air orbs.
Yeah, instead of running
And-
through the entire Edgeville dungeon, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, instead of running through the Edgeville dungeon. There's also improved Ancient Warrior drop rates. Team Cakes are allowed to provide the effects of the Ava device. And there's this guy at the Chaos Temple who will unnote items for players.
Also, it's a cheap tier
Oh.
70 sword, which is cute.
And this one is actually useful if you ever go into the wilderness. The herb patch will be disease-free.
Yeah, and you get a teleport like right there too. So pretty nice.
So yeah,
What level in the Wildy
couple-
is that at?
deep.
Yeah, figures.
Like, it's beyond teleport range, so you're gonna need to run like hell after you harvest the herbs.
Yeah.
It's a little after the Waka canoe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on that same green patch of land.
that spot.
So it could be useful if you like the wilderness.
Do people like the wilderness?
No.
Some do.
No.
No. They like the wilderness because warbands are in the wilderness.
If you're
And
really
because-
min-maxing, it can be useful.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to get around, and I guess some features are improved. But
If you're forced to be in the wilderness for some reason, this is good. If you're not, it's you're never going to touch it.
Pretty much.
yeah,
But that's the
Oh,
problem that they've had with the wilderness for ever since they reinstated the wilderness as being PvP, is that why would you go in the wilderness? What's the point? You can do everything that you can do in the wilderness outside of the wilderness, and even the stuff in the wilderness wasn't even top end stuff. It's random mid-level crap that isn't even very useful or good, especially now with the way, because bosses are the source of armor, and rune is, you don't mine rune anymore, and there's other places to mine rune, and nobody does bloodwood, and I mean, it's just all these things that just combine to make the wilderness just completely dead, on top of the fact that it's PvP. And
yeah, it's like at this point, everyone just needs to see that reviving PvP is not gonna come via the wilderness.
Yeah, and
Yeah. We got Bounty Hunter next month.
yeah,
Yeah,
bounty
there's
hunter.
next.
Bounty hunter's actually something I've been wanting to see for years, and not because I'm a PvPer, but because that's what PvP, you just want something like that. That's the reason that Black Desert is a fairly successful game despite the PvP, is because it's just open world PvP. It's all right, cool, we can do this.
Just run and go do things.
Yeah.
Hope you
And-
don't die.
And it's an interesting way of playing it's similar to the way that Darkscape experiment
Yes,
was,
Darkscape.
except it's not forced, and it's not it's in the live game, obviously. But I do retain the opinion that reverting the wilderness, I guess, reverting the wilderness was a mistake when it was turned back to PvP in 2011 or whatever. I
It
do
was
still
2010,
consider
I believe.
I do still consider that a mistake
Yeah.
yeah.
It just feels like there's a lot of wasted potential there.
Mm-hmm.
That like this big continent-size part of land that they can't do anything with because it's the
Waste of
wilderness.
space.
Yeah.
It's a huge space. It's half of free to play, and it's just dead. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. What's done is done, I guess. And Bounty Hunter was the solution in that '08 to 2010 era where there was no PvP in the wilderness. Bounty Hunter came in, and then Bounty Hunter was used for that PvP aspect. So it seems like that would be good, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit as well, because that is that. So we talked briefly about the divination stuff. We should probably talk a little bit more about that, just because it is good. Like that, the divination colony at the sword.
Yeah, it's a really good concept because you've got this one divination spot. It is right smack dab in the center of the wilderness. You know, like everyone knows where it's going to be, but it's a very good divination spot. Like,
Yeah,
the
it's
only
at
one
the
its
Sword
kind.
of Edicts.
You can make any sort of energy out of it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously,
And-
incandescent would be the best for high level.
Yes. Let me just look
Wrong?
up. I believe you can harvest it at any energy. At any
Oh,
divination.
right. No Elder Energy. You have to get Elder Energy from...
Yeah, you have to get
Elder
Elder
Halls.
Energy, but you can harvest it at any level.
Yeah.
It just gives you bonuses depending on your level. So from 1 to 54, you get 1 cursed energy. From 55 to 74, you get 2. From 75 to 99, you get 3. So it basically means that if you want the best way to get energy, you have to go to the one place where it is, and everyone knows it is, and that's right in the middle of PvP area.
Yep. And
Which I do like. That is how the wilderness should be.
yeah. And this is the wilderness kind of done right, where it is, like, I don't want to call it best in slot, because obviously it's not exactly correct, but that's basically what it is. It's the best energy source
It can
in the
be
game.
it can be made into whatever's the best for you. And the best part about it is that any level can go there, and you've got like any type of level who is there.
Yeah.
And they're all scared of being attacked and killed.
Yeah, what Walter's saying is that it is only barely better, though. So
Yeah.
it is. So the risk probably isn't worth it, but yeah. But it is the most common spot for PKers to go to. All 3 of them that are
Yes.
left in the game.
Yeah,
Just
the
go
same
during
PK
world
killed me
bans and you're
4
fine.
4 times on release.
Yeah, rip. Yeah, many use all of their energy just expecting to die. And yeah, and also they've changed the prayer or the chaos altar so that it is now a gilded altar, which is useful for Iron Man, not hardcore. We mentioned that earlier. They changed Rogue's Castle pickpocketing so that it works similarly to Prifddinas, which is
Yeah.
nice, because re-clicking on thieving is a chore, to say the least. Let's see here. They added Slayer contracts, which work just as you would expect. Added Charming Moths, which give a bunch of summoning. So it's like
Yeah.
non-combat summoning XP, which is nice.
Yeah. But the thing is that even if you're killing players there, you don't actually get anything because charms are untradeable. So, like, it's a pretty big place for griefers to go, I would think.
Oh, for griefers, yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, I mean, then again, is anybody using that area? Because if they're not, then that's obviously not a very good place for griefers to go.
Yeah, that is true.
Uh,
Like-
yeah, then there's this. They've got the chest. The bandit camp now only works if you're skulled. Oh yeah, they added bloodweed, which seems to be reasonably useful, although rather
Yeah.
risky.
It is.
extremely
Obviously.
risky.
Aggression potions are pretty great, and I haven't actually tried out the other two potions.
Camo potions, they expire very quickly, but if you're in the wilderness, quickly is enough. And luck potion is basically liquid ring of wealth.
Something Harry Potter reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be like anyway like technically feasible, but it might have been better if the camouflage potion also made it harder for people to actually like click on you to attack you as well.
Like lower your click radius?
Or something.
like,
Or no,
lower-
just like
That feels
the
like
option to actually
that
click.
feels like an engine thing, and I don't
Yeah.
know if they could have even done that.
Or
Yes,
maybe
that would
make
be
you,
cool.
like, make you slightly more invisible.
Kind of like in the way that what is it? The team capes, they like lower your like the option to left click attack on you if you're
Oh,
both
maybe-
wearing the same cape.
Oh, that's true.
That would be actually pretty good.
Just make it somewhat harder to attack you.
Mhm.
Yeah, the two clicks. Yeah, that is relevant. Yeah.
Like the camouflage potion, it's okay, and I don't know of any circumstance where the luck potion is really used.
It sounds from what Walter says in the thread, it's used at Nex,
Oh, okay.
and I can see that
Alright.
because Nex does get affected by Ring of Wealth.
Yeah, very majorly, honestly, so. Anyhow. Yeah, but the aggression potion is the best of the three, by far, and it's really good.
Yeah, the aggression potion causes every NPC that can attack you to attack you. So it's basically what people bring cannons to Slayer tasks for, to get everything to attack you so you can just mow them all down at once and not have to
And
move.
not have to pay attention, yeah.
That's what it basically does, and it does that pretty damn well. So yeah, we talked about camouflage, did that. We talked about agility. I think
That's
about
that's the long
it.
and the short of it.
yeah. Interesting. It is interesting that some key items from the wilderness spiked in price the day before it was announced, but you know,
The economy will be the economy.
people potentially telling other people about certain updates will be happening too, I guess. Well, whatever. Anyways, so I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted to talk about with the wilderness revamp.
Alright,
Yeah,
what's next?
it's not amazing. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that it's the wilderness. Like,
Yeah.
that's the issue, is that it's the wilderness, and how do you make it alive without breaking the game? And
Yeah, that's just
I-
been like, okay, we're gonna revert this.
I don't know. Other than not have it be PvP and go back to the 08 method and just have bounty hunter worlds, I don't know. Because at this point, what if your world turns into a bounty hunter world? Then it's like, well, now what?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
good
they
luck. Yeah.
maybe they just add a couple worlds, and but I don't know. But anyways, moving on. We also want to mention before we are done here, the September not technically BTS, or as I have it written on my note page, September BTS-ish, where they're doing Dagonoth rework. There's pictures of that. The 3 Dagonoth. They're changing they're graphically updating them. Finally,
Yeah, Dagonoth Rex,
but-
Dagonoth Prime, and Dagonoth, the third one that I forget.
Supreme.
Supreme.
Yeah,
Like the
that one.
pizza.
Sour cream.
Why would you have a pizza with sour cream on it? Anyways. Anyways,
No comment.
no comment.
Oh no.
Monkeys, duh. Okay, fair enough. But yeah,
Let the pizza wars begin.
they're gonna graphically update the Dagonoth Kings. Their new looks are not exactly popular. Mostly because
Nah,
they're
they're-
super bright colored, and it's
Yeah.
like, this
They're
doesn't
based
fit.
heavily off of the legend art, concept art, and unfortunately, the Dagonoth Kings, Dagonoth are usually like a pretty muddy color instead of being super bright and
Ignore the queen.
And the fact
ignore the queen.
Ignore
Yeah.
that.
I mean, there is a
That must
precedent.
paint, recolor.
There is a precedent for Dagonoth to change colors, but generally they're more of a darker color
Like, you'd think
because they
that,
just hide. Yeah.
like, maybe they have one of them be like a slate gray, one of them be a greenish, and one of them be a brownish, and like,
Yeah, like
so the
moss
green-
color or
so the green, and then you just learn as you play it which one's
maybe
which.
a rust color,
I think
a dark blue.
I think one thing that
Maybe.
Walter said that in the the person's when they made that concept art image, they wanted to make it in like a kind of a kaiju style, like a what if they were like a Godzilla like monster, not a concept art of if this is how Dagonoths should be updated type thing.
Yeah,
I don't know, but anyways, but yeah, so they're reworking the Dagonoths, and that's, we'll see. They're giving elegy post quest content. Yay. There's
there's a new tale that's coming out,
Mhm.
which is it's just called Tale of Nomad, but I'd like to think it's called Nomad's Eulogy, because that'd be really cool.
that
Um,
would actually be really cool.
Like, it would go into the backstory of Nomad, and I don't believe we know anything more about it, except that it will also be coming with a hardcore Nomad with a new soul cape,
Mhm.
which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, so the boss is going to be repeatable, so the elegy boss. There
Because
will
it was
be
a
new
pretty fun
post quest
boss.
dialogue. That was the direction you had. There's a significant amount of ire that came out of you, though, Lime, for that one, because that's where
Which one?
we were all thinking.
Yes. that
Now
one.
we just start adding stages and make
That
it
is
longer.
true.
But I
I
guess
mean-
they are cutting out all of the like switching to another perspective stages from that fight. For
Yes.
the
Fine.
So
Yeah.
It'll just be a straight up Nomad fight, instead of being like 9 phases long.
Yeah. But yeah.
Also do an Iron Man and jog 50 laps, do some stretches, bake a pie. Literally do all of while Gothic sleeps again.
Oh god.
and then come back
Unclog
and
a toilet. Go
Oh.
back in time, do it all again.
rip. And then do one small favor.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh no.
Not
And
like
that
this.
And now you will know why Nomad became evil.
Yep. But yeah, it's a hard mode nomad related to the Souls Cape. It doesn't seem to be a comp requirement, which is nice for the 2%
You
of
just-
you who have comp.
You just get a neat cape out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. They're also doing a bunch of invention updates, so they're trying to rebalance some of the tech tree
They did.
abilities.
They've already came out with the augmented pickaxe. It's really
Yeah,
good with
that
sea
was
salt.
today, wasn't it? That was
Yes, that
today's
was
update.
today. And it has the same thing of Doc, the dwarf, being able to take your crystal pickaxe off and augment it for you if you have the required items, and that will make it so that your crystal pickaxe is no longer in your tool belt. Yes.
They're making some changes with a lot of the components and stuff. Like, they're changing not components, some of the products that they're making. Like, they're changing the calorie bomb and some of the dungeoneering party simulator, dungeoneering
They're also
bog
changing
melter,
some-
etc.
We're also changing some of the components of those things. So, like, a dungeoneering party simulator won't take up so many whatever component there is. I
Evasive.
forget which. Yes, evasive component.
How do you get those? I can't remember.
Pose.
Here, I think.
Say it again?
Yeah.
Assembling range stuff.
Yeah.
Bows and ranged armor.
Yeah, and then they added new components, faceted and clockwork for the mining stuff. They also
Yes.
added a couple
4 new perks.
Yep, new perks.
Runic, take it away.
Okay, so 4 new perks. First one is kind of simple. Enhanced Efficient. It just reduces drain rate. It's just as useless as the original Efficient.
Except it's enhanced now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Useless.
I can't tell. Wait, I can't tell if it's more useful or less useful if it's enhanced.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Then there's Enhanced Devoted. This basically has the same effect as the original Devoted. It's just a higher chance. This one is pretty good, but the thing to note that it takes up a whole gizmo, so you can't have any other perks with this one. Because normally you can have 2 perks in one gizmo. Now you can only have this, which is interesting. This one is pretty useful, and Walter might argue with me on that, but overall this one is pretty useful. People will be throwing it on their gear.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. The next one is flanking. This means that all the abilities that bind and stun will no longer stun, but they'll do a lot more damage. 40% per rank. So, and I think it's 3 ranks on the perk. But they only do more damage if the target isn't facing you.
So good for bosses.
Which it could be good, but there isn't really a boss that does that.
Yeah, the bosses where it's good is Calfight King, Raids, Duo Raxor, and Viraco. And I guess potentially next, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm talking about like party raid or party
Well,
bosses.
It could be good at Rise of the Six.
Maybe.
Ish.
Very situationally.
But the thing is because this is so situational as opposed to something like Aftershock, which is pretty much everywhere, you just take Aftershock instead of this.
Yeah, because you need to pick one, and you don't want to switch back and forth.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe if you're only doing Virago or only doing raids, you might want this.
Well, even then, Aftershock is a really expensive perk, so...
Well, if you're getting it for the first time, like say you're getting into PVM and you're like, all right, I'm doing this boss, I'm getting good at this boss or whatever, then that's when you'd say, okay, just go and get flanking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either
It is situational indeed.
basically it's too situational to be really good, but it could be good in niche. And the final one is Crystal Shield. This one's a little bit more complicated. It gives a 10% chance that 5% of your damage per rank that is taken during the next 10 seconds gets used as a shield, negating damage for the next 30 seconds. If that makes sense, basically it's an extra 1.5 seconds of damage.
We're losing you. You're kind of going in and
Yeah.
out.
This better?
Yes.
Slightly.
Basically, it's a 1.5 second barricade every 25 seconds. So, yeah.
If you're using a shield.
No, not it works on armor too.
Oh, does it? Oh, yeah.
I guess.
So
Huh.
it's pretty good, and it'll be used a lot for tanking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
Because
it
it's
seems
like having
really
a
good for
shield.
tanks.
Except you don't have a shield. Ooh.
I was going to check, but yeah, basically it's going to be used. The other one, Enhanced Devoted, is going to be used, and the other two are basically not going to be used.
Well, 50% isn't bad.
Yeah, pretty much. The funny thing is that Enhanced Efficient and Flanking come from Clockwork components, which are really, really hard to get.
Well, Rip. Yeah, clockwork comes from clockwork stuff. Faceted comes from gems and crystal.
No, clockwork comes from like half of clockwork stuff,
Okay,
not all of it.
correction.
Yeah.
Half of clockwork stuff.
Not even all of it.
Yeah, that's about it for the perks, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a new stuff being added to invention. This is what we hoped that the skill would be, is that as you add more stuff, you can add more content to the invention. Obviously, not all of it's going to be top tier, even if they try and make it that way. But, you know.
For Crystal Shield, people have been figuring out that you can combine it with Crackling 3. So you get
Oh
Crackling
my.
Crystal Shield 1, which is actually really, really nice.
Oh my.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
What does
Right,
crackling do again?
Crackling
It
is
zapped your opponent.
yeah,
Actually, pretty good.
yeah.
and everything. Basically, every minute it does an extra 3k damage.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. That does sound like a good combo.
Yeah, Crackling can actually be put with a lot of really nice combos. It's just kind of expensive to try those out.
True. But yeah, so that's some of the invention stuff that happened. We mentioned the pickaxe. That's the major thing, but then there are obviously some of these perks. Also happening is the deathmatch, which is basically Bounty Hunter re-implemented. Well, I guess they're both. This one's the Crucible is being replaced
Yes.
for
Yeah.
deathmatch, and then Bounty Hunter is just Bounty Hunter. But yeah, so deathmatch is a safe death, free for all arena that's to take place in the Crucible, because Crucible is DED dead, and has been dead since day of release.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Super dead since day of release. Yeah, up to 30 players will be able to join, and the games will last 10 minutes. And it's on a shard world, so world hopping isn't a thing. You'll receive reward points based on how well you do that can be traded for untradables. So there are 2 brackets, below combat level 100 and above, and you can join either if you are below combat level 100, Q pures. The player that deals the most damage will get credit for a kill. All players that do above a certain threshold will gain an assist. So it's just, and then
It's just your standard stuff.
yeah, it's just score stuff. Checking out some of the rewards. I actually can't find. Oh, here they are. For the rewards, the most important one is the Ogre Flask, which holds 1 dose of one of the Ooglog pools, destroyed on use. Assuming you can determine which flask ahead of time, this will be the new best in slot healing.
Yeah. Looking at what the Ogre Pools do, if we can take that effect with us, that's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Which one heals? I can't even remember. It's been so long. Is it the blue?
I think so. Let me check again.
And that boosts your max health, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the thermal pool is the one that
Yeah,
does that, because
thermal.
the sulfur
Yes.
pool restores your prayer,
Yeah.
Saltwater pools for the run energy.
and banjo pool is for
Banjo.
music or something.
And
That's for Banjo in the
Yeah.
the Guild Wars dungeon. Where's Gina? Oh, Gina's
It's
not in
not
here. Rip.
The Mud Bath one, if you want to drink mud, can give you
That's
like a boost.
that's Hunter, I believe.
Yeah, that's Hunter. That's +7 Hunter levels. Invisible?
And
No, it is
Sentinels,
visible.
Visible.
Rip. I think it's visible. Visible 7 Hunters levels.
Yeah.
I thought it was +8 and Sentinels was the thing, or is it +7?
I think it's +7.
Is that something
Unless
big?
they changed it. It was the highest. It was definitely the highest in the game. There's nothing else that's better. because the we can't hear you. Oh, it's 10% of your level?
Yeah.
Okay.
10%.
Then it's even higher. But yeah, it's definitely best. Hunter potions are only +5, so. But yeah, other rewards are Wilderness Slayer, Assignment Enhancer, Small Rune Pouch, Scroll of Intimidation, which I can't see that being useful at all. Use Ancient Teletabs, which seems nice. Various rogue gloves that are hybrid tier gloves, tier 70 hybrid, or tier 65 through 85 hybrid gloves that have life point boosts and armor stuff. And then there's the Bounty Hunter teleport spell, which is nice, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, this is a little bit out of our expertise because PvP.
Yeah.
But it looks, from just looking at it, it looks interesting. The stuff, like, this is a cool way of implementing PvP. I don't know why they didn't do that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Bounty Hunter's coming back. It's similar to the old Bounty Hunter. There's going to be one EOC and one Legacy world. You're assigned a player to kill, but you can kill anyone if you don't have an assignment, and that's called a rogue. According to Walter, a rouge kill. Walter, it's ROGUE. God damn it.
Well, I mean, no, he's not wrong. You just turn red when you kill someone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're so embarrassed for hitting the wrong target that you even read.
I can't believe I did this. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, like the old worlds, players will be restricted to Edgeville, Varrock's Grand Exchange in the Wilderness. It takes 15 minutes to get a target to encourage you to fight other players. You've got matchmaking, matchmaker rating, ELO, brackets, stuff like that. Some of the rewards you get: Brawling Gloves, Rune Pouches, Ancient Warrior Gear upgrades, Wildy Hilts that can do things.
Just some nice stuff.
Yeah, and a Revenant pet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The main one, though, and this is actually really important, is the Adrenaline Crystal. This is literally going to be a must-have for all bossing.
Yeah, so the Adrenaline Crystal is tradable. It can be added to an Adrenaline Potion to create a superior Adrenaline Potion. It also would upgrade a Replenishment Potion if you add it, giving you 6 full doses. And it gives 30% Adren instead of 25%. And since you apparently use a lot of Adrenaline Potions in PvM, there you go. Apparently, Rune Pouches, which are also tradable, hold 16k of 3 types of runes and is equipped in an ammo slot. Why wasn't this a thing, like, I don't know, 6 years ago?
It should have been a
Who
thing.
knows?
Should have been a thing on launch.
Actually,
Game launch.
Actually, it was a thing until EOC came out, because the Dungeoneering, the Celestial Surge box was this. That's what this was the Celestial Surge box. But because staves are two-handed now, the Celestial Surge box is RIP.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, I guess that could put a really niche use to wands, but yeah.
Yeah, that was my most used Dungeoneering reward by far before EOC. Like, not even close, because of Glaycors. But yeah, it holds up to 16k of 3 types of runes. It's equipped with an ammo slot, and it'll be a must-have item because it gives you more room for food and other stuff. 3 debuff spells in one. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's a must-have item even for rangers at difficult bosses because it lets them store debuff runes in a single slot. Yeah, and
That's gonna be the most popular thing.
yeah, and restricting an item that is this important to a PvP minigame isn't exactly the most popular decision, but it will make people go and play this.
Yeah.
Although there's probably going to be just like camp trading and stuff, but that's the case in every PvP minigame ever, so there's no way around it. If there's a reward from a PvP minigame and people don't want to actually like legit PvP, they'll just find some way to trade. But the way that this system looks doesn't even look like that's really possible, but we'll see. Anyways, the rune pouch is like a must-have for everyone. It is.
Yeah.
I wonder how expensive that's going to be a week after release.
Yeah.
It depends on how
I
easy it is
know.
to get. Do we know how easy it is to get yet?
Not
No.
yet, I think.
I have a feeling it'll be about as easy to get as the old Ancient Warriors gear was.
Oh. Oh, look, okay.
I mean, I did get an Ancient Warrior piece from the Wilderness Task set, so that's why I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, the Ancient Warrior. There is an Ancient Warrior gear upgrade in the thing. It is also tradable and upgrades a piece of Ancient Warrior gear to tier 88, which is
Like, edging out.
close to that tier 90 level. So
It edges out Port's armor, though.
yeah, it does.
Do we know if it's power armor or tank armor?
And does it degrade?
Yeah, it degrades really fast.
Oh, okay. So that's the problem. So this is PvP armor. It's
Yeah.
PvP whatever armor, and it's similar to the way that like you see this Statius's Warhammer, and that thing has no charges at all. It's like I think that was one of the like super niche weapons that you would use. Like your first swing at a boss would be a special attack with the Statius's Warhammer to like have its defense or something, and then you go. And this was like
They
pre-EOC.
brought that back now.
Yeah.
It was what rich people used against Nomad if they were too good for a Bandos Godsword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Statius's Warhammer 33 mil. Yeah, oh, there you go. Huh. But yeah, it was like, and it like has like 60 minutes worth of charge, which is so short. Maybe I have the numbers wrong, but I just remember it being ridiculously short in terms of how long it lasted. But yeah, so that's Bounty Hunter. We have, I mean, this is just like a pile of PvP stuff, and so I guess some of us will partake in it, some of us will stare at it from a distance and buy the rewards after the fact. Some of us will just do neither and continue spamming the rune spam so that I can get a rue. Gee, I wonder who that might be.
The Rue spam.
Yeah, it is the rue spam at this point. But, yeah, so I think that covers everything, unless anybody else has something that they want to bring up that I missed.
Just that a lot of the PvP stuff seems kind of to me it's uninteresting, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Worth
Yeah.
mentioning, though, because some of this, especially like some of these rewards, the tradable rewards, are going to be very useful. And the fact that they are tradable means that it could be very, very profitable to
Like,
Yeah.
get good at
it
PvP.
will dissolve its way down into the general populace, even if you don't do this. But
Yes.
you could make profit off of this.
Yeah.
I'm just really interested in seeing like how well this does to revive PvP.
Yeah.
If at all.
Yeah, Pie's been trying so hard to make PvP a thing again, and
You might have actually cracked it.
he has put a valiant effort. The problems were lack of interest in PvP, lack of rewards, so there's no reason to do anything with PvP, and lack of a kind of system for it. And I think he's got several of those fixed here with this. But we shall see. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think that covers everything we want to talk about. It's been a little bit of a longer podcast, but that's how we roll here. Lime's food is coming soon, so he's making sure that we're getting out of here. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back probably end of the month for the next, because there's just not much here. So we'll probably be back. Our next podcast will probably be the October BTS. So
Coming soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah.
Trademark, and that'll feature more of the arc, and maybe after the arc we'll have something nice, or we'll for sure be able to talk about the arc, the entire arc, update set
The
as a
Halloween
whole.
event arc.
Yep.
The Halloween event is also going to be coming in the arc. I suspect that it's going to be on Twilight.
Probably. Just
Yeah.
by the name, it seems like that would probably be where it would be. But yeah, that covers everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next time. But until then, see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Farewell.